So I was in that position for about 2 years. Got to the point where I felt like I was ready to grow. I was looking for perhaps an opportunity to lead the entire front office department. Also kind of considering maybe getting some housekeeping experience, as some of my mentors in the hospitality industry said, hey look, you got to get the other side, you need some exposure to housekeeping. So I was looking for different opportunities to see where I was going to learn next. And I was recruited actively to the Big Cypress Lodge, which is inside the Pyramid. Now that was a big shift for me, coming from 6 years in Peabody, moving to the Pyramid, because the operation is a little bit different. The Peabody had 464 rooms. Bass Pro, the Big Cypress Lodge inside Bass ProShops, has 103 rooms, so we were scaling down quite a bit. The management structure there is a lot leaner too, whereas before we had front desk, supervisor, assistant manager, manager, assistant director, director, all the way up to general manager. Here we've got frontline, manager, general manager. That's it. So really lean structure, meaning that everybody has a lot more individual responsibility. You're not focused in on one task as much, even on our frontline, right? You got to learn a lot more little pieces and kind of put it all together. So I was recruited to come over and serve as the front office manager for the Big Cypress Lodge. So basically step into a department head position. I reported directly to the general manager there, and I had oversight for the front desk, concierge, valet, bellman, and PBX, our telephone operators there. Now the way we operated was, like I said, it was quite a bit leaner. So we had to deal with some unique challenges that you might not at a larger hotel. One example of that is our room service, right? So we took orders for room service at the front desk. That's a little unusual. We took orders at the front desk. We found that that was the best way to ensure a good guest satisfaction with the customer service interaction. There was a bit of inconsistency when somebody in the restaurant would pick up the phone, but we found that if we ran that through the front desk, we were giving a great service every time. And we would put it in our terminal and send it off to the restaurant. They would still take care of fulfilling the order, making the delivery, but we'd just be that kind of customer service filter, that first point of contact on the phone. We also received, not having a designated switchboard before someone calls the hotel, the front desk receives a lot of call volume. So one of the things that I worked with when I first got over there, I worked with our public relations team to get our public phone number changed to a number where we had a switchboard where a guest could kind of self-direct. If they listened to an automated menu, and then they could choose to transfer themselves to the restaurant. They could choose to transfer themselves to a reservations department or concierge instead of just dialing straight through to the front desk. So that helped call volume quite a bit. Our concierge department over there is very empowered. They, instead of just kind of operating at their little bubble at their desk, the concierge department over there really has a lot of responsibility for setting up amenities, making sure things get delivered to the rooms properly. They also operate a courtesy vehicle service that runs around the downtown area. So our concierge at any given time, they could be delivering luggage, they could be placing flowers in the room, they could be ordering something for an incoming guest, or they could be running out and driving somebody around downtown. So like I said, a lot of different responsibilities all kind of rolled into one. With our front desk team, another way that it was unique over there as opposed to some properties, our property management system that runs the hotel, it's like the computer that handles, your computer program that handles check-in, check-out, handles your credit card processing. Our property management system wasn't connected to Booking.com and Expedia. So while guests could book directly on our website, and that would end up in our system, if somebody went online to Booking or to Expedia and they put through a reservation, well, we had to go into Booking and Expedia and we had to make sure that that reservation got entered accurately in our property management system. So that's probably one of the things that I've spent the most time with over my last 9 months that I've been there. Was really just kind of drilling down on consistency with that Booking and Expedia. Because you book a reservation on Booking.com, you expect it to be in the computer, right? Well, if you get to the hotel and somebody never just transposed that into their property management system and they sold out that night, you're out of luck. They might have to relocate you. They might have to make other accommodations. You could turn you away, they could turn another guest away. That's a really uncomfortable situation to be in as a guest. So one of the things that I really focused on while I was over there was making sure that everybody at the desk had better training level on how to manage those and how to look at that day's reservations coming through and also the days before to make sure nothing was falling through the cracks. We were seeing that people in the morning shift and the evening shift were really good about watching that. They were making sure that, that everything was entered that came through on their shift. But then our PM shifts would go home at 10 or 11, night audit would come in. Night audit's looking at it too, but they won't check it till about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning after the business date's rolled. So they see, oh, there's nothing coming through. But if they don't look at yesterday, there could have been 1 or 2 reservations that came through between 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock that slipped through the cracks. So one of the first things I did was I did a big audit. I turned out about 60 reservations. They were just floating, just out in the middle of nowhere. People had paid good money, they had booked their rooms, and those reservations never made it into the actual property management system. So fortunately, that big cleanup just had to happen once, and then has had a lot of regular maintenance since then. It's not error-proof, right? With a system like that, where you're depending on somebody, when you're depending on human interaction for it, I mean, there's prone to error. For example, Booking.com, they're based in Amsterdam, right? So they're used to the European date format, whereas you might put the month, if you're writing the date out, you might put the month first. Well, they're going to put the day first. We've had a few reservations that have come through backwards. They've been put in through the wrong month just because the day got put in the European format, which that's, I mean, just one little example of something that could kind of go awry. But fortunately, we haven't had too much trouble with that since then. Let me tell you a little bit about Big Cypress. Hopefully I don't have to try to guess your password to get back in here.
All right.
Yep. Sorry. So Big Cypress Lodge is owned by Bass ProShops, which, as many of you know, is basically an outdoor superstore, big chain of them all over the country. They recently doubled in size. Thank you very much, sir. They recently doubled in size when they were acquired. They acquired Cabela's as well. So all the Cabela's locations, Bass ProShops picked up as well. So that's all under one corporate entity now. So I'll show you a little bit about our property. Now, our logo is very similar to our parent property. Bass ProShops has owned another place up in Missouri for about 35 years called Big Cedar Lodge. Now, Big Cedar Lodge is a wilderness resort, 800 acres. They're all situated around Table Rock Lake. So you've got a couple of big lodges, you've got all these cabins that are lakefront, you also have food and beverage outlets, you've got kayaking and lakeside yoga, there's a go-kart track up there, there's a shooting range. I mean, there's all sorts of cool stuff up to do it at Big Cedar. Now, Big Cypress is kind of capturing that rustic, elegant feel, but inside a city hotel downtown Memphis. The Pyramid itself used to be a big sports arena. So it was originally built to house the Grizzlies. They had concerts, monster trucks, all sorts of fun things. Anything you go to the FedEx Forum for, basically, they had at the Pyramid, scaled down a little bit. So about 10 years ago, the city of Memphis was looking for a new purpose for the Pyramid. Johnny Morris, the owner of Bass ProShops, being a very creative individual, said, I think I can put a big retail store there. So he built this huge artificial cypress swamp and a big retail store. Put the largest freestanding elevator in North America right up the middle, so guests can go straight up to the top, and they can see the views all around downtown. And he also put a couple of restaurants in there, shooting range, 60,000 gallon lagoon, and a hotel. I'll show you some of our rooms. Now, in terms of the layout of the rooms, our rooms are built to a 5-star specification, 5-star, 5-diamond specification. Now, Forbes does star rating, AAA does diamond rating. So if you ever hear, oh, so many diamonds, so many stars, Forbes is stars, AAA is diamonds. The criteria they have to meet to get those certifications are kind of similar. Forbes is going to be a little bit more about the emotional experience for the guest, where the diamonds, AAA, it's going to be a bit more about kind of checking off points on a list. But at the end of the day, if you can hit one, you're probably not far off of the other. We have not yet had a Forbes or AAA inspection. AAA is pretty high on our list. We don't know that Forbes would necessarily be the best investment for our property just because of what our clientele looks for when they're looking for properties. But our marketing team has decided that AAA inspection is probably in the near future for us, and we'd expect to fall right around a 4-diamond. So full service facility, the kind where when you get there, you can be really hands-off. You've got somebody to take your luggage, they can valet park your car, they'll escort you to the room, you've got room service options, you've got a couple of restaurants on site, as opposed to a limited service where you're going to take your own luggage up. There's a breakfast buffet, you serve yourself, everything's kind of on your own, but they still have a lot of options there for you. So that's a treehouse suite. Let me back that up actually. So our treehouse suite is pretty cool. It's one of two really neat ones where, of course, we've got the fake tree kind of growing up through the floor there. It looks right out inside the pyramid. Most of the rooms on our property look inside the building. You might look at the pyramid and think, oh, look at all those windows. There's no windows, except at the very top. All of that kind of reflective surface around the pyramid, that's all aluminum sheeting, so you can't see out. Inside the building, looking out over that big artificial cypress swamp, that's really the main attraction. So all of our rooms inside have these screened-in porches where you've got 2 rocking chairs, you've got a table with 4 chairs, we can serve you room service on the balcony there, and they look out over the big artificial cypress swamp. There are a few rooms that face outside. I'll tell you more about those in a bit. But our fabrication shop up in Springfield, Missouri, Bass Pro headquarters, really put a lot of detail into things. So you can look around and you can see, like, this is a fireplace. Now, for safety reasons, instead of gas fireplaces, we've got like a lighting effect. It's a nice kind of flickering glow, electric. But our fireplace, we've got custom-made iron grills there. They've done a whole entertainment system, a whole entertainment center that was designed and created just for our property. Up here at the top, this is nice stained glass where you open it up and you've got a mirrored cabinet that has your coffee maker. It's got your ice bucket up there and all of your coffee supplies. Then down here, you've got a metal door that you can open up. It's connected to a built-in refrigerator too. The bathrooms are very nice. I don't know if I have a good picture of the bathrooms in the slides, but the bathrooms being laid out to 5-star spec, they have dual sink. They're